Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Hour. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Because today, we're going to talk about something that every English learner struggles with at some point: confidence. More specifically, how to build unstoppable confidence in English. The kind of confidence that makes you feel calm when you speak, sure of your words, and proud of your progress. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You've probably said to yourself before, I know a lot of English words, I've studied grammar, I watch English shows, but when it's time to speak, I freeze. Your heart starts racing, your voice shakes, and your brain suddenly forgets everything it knows. And you walk away from that moment thinking, I'm just not confident enough. But let me tell you, a secret: confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, little by little, through experience, mindset, and trust in yourself. Let me start with a story. A few years ago, I was teaching a student named Lena. She was brilliant, always top of her class, knew tons of vocabulary, and understood every grammar rule. But the moment she had to speak, especially with native speakers, she would panic. One day, she told me she was invited to a company meeting where everyone spoke English, and she was terrified. I asked her, "What are you afraid of?" She said, "I'm afraid they'll laugh at me if I say something wrong." I smiled and told her something I tell every learner. People don't remember your mistakes, they remember your message. That sentence changed her life. When Lena stopped trying to be perfect and started focusing on communication, her confidence skyrocketed. She realized that speaking English isn't about showing people how perfect you are. It's about connecting, expressing, and sharing ideas. And that shift from fear to connection is where true confidence begins. Confidence in English isn't about speaking flawlessly. It's about speaking freely. It's about being okay with not knowing every word, being okay with pausing to think, and being okay with making mistakes. Because confidence isn't built in silence. It's built in action. You can't think your way into confidence. You have to practice your way into it. I remember the first time I had to give a presentation in another language. My hands were shaking, my throat felt dry, and I could literally hear my heartbeat in my ears. But the funny thing was, halfway through, something shifted. I realized that people weren't judging me. They were listening. They were curious. They wanted to understand me. That moment taught me something powerful. People don't care about your accent or small grammar mistakes as much as you think they do. What they care about is your message, your energy, and your confidence. The problem is, most English learners wait until they feel ready to speak. But here's the truth: you'll never feel ready if you don't start speaking now. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after. It's like going to the gym the first time. It feels awkward, uncomfortable, maybe even painful. But if you keep going, you get stronger. Speaking English works the same way. Every time you speak, even if it's messy or imperfect, you're building your confidence muscles. There's this false idea that confident people never feel nervous. That's not true at all. Even the most confident speakers get nervous. The difference is, they don't let that nervousness stop them. They've learned to use that energy instead of running away from it. So, if you feel nervous before speaking, that's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign that you care. It means your brain is awake, alert, and ready. Let me tell you another story. This time about a guy named Rafi. He was one of those students who loved English but hated speaking it. During class, he'd stay quiet, even when he knew the answer. One day I asked him to help another student with pronunciation. He hesitated, but finally agreed. He started slowly, correcting small mistakes, explaining the sounds. And you know what happened. The more he spoke, the more confident he became. By the end of that session, he was smiling. He said, "I didn't know I could actually do this." That was his breakthrough moment. From that day, he volunteered more, spoke more, and eventually became one of the most confident speakers in the class. Sometimes, confidence comes from realizing you can help others. When you teach, explain, or even just share your opinion in English, you start to believe in your ability. You prove to yourself that you can communicate, and that belief grows stronger each time. If I could give you one piece of advice, it would be this: stop comparing your English to someone else's. Your journey is your own. The person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Did you speak a little more than you did last week? Did you try a new word today? That's progress. Confidence grows when you celebrate small wins, not when you chase perfection. One of my favorite quotes says, "Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act despite it." Every confident English speaker you admire started exactly where you are, full of doubt, making mistakes, and feeling unsure. The only difference is they didn't stop there. They kept going. When you speak English, remember that communication is a two-way street. You're not performing, you're connecting. And when you focus on connection instead of perfection, confidence naturally follows. The goal isn't to speak like a native speaker, it's to speak like yourself, just in English. Your accent, your rhythm, your way of expressing, that's part of your identity. Own it. You might not realize it, but every time you speak English, even if it's just a few sentences, you're proving something powerful. You're brave. You're stepping outside your comfort zone. You're doing something most people would never dare to do. That alone deserves respect. So the next time you're about to speak English, and that little voice in your head says, "What if I make a mistake?" answer it with this: "So what? I'll learn from it." Confidence doesn't come from never falling, it comes from getting back up every time you do. Start with small steps. Talk to yourself in English. Record your voice. Read out loud. Speak with friends. Join online conversations. Every small interaction builds momentum, and before you know it, you'll look back and realize you're not afraid anymore. Because you've practiced your way into confidence. I want to leave you with this thought: you already have everything you need to be confident in English. You've learned, you've practiced, you've made mistakes, you've grown. Confidence isn't something you find. It's something you uncover, because it's already inside you. You just have to trust yourself enough to let it show. So today, walk into every English conversation with your head held high. Speak with courage even if your voice shakes. Don't wait for permission to be confident, and give it to yourself. Because the truth is, the more you speak, the more you shine. Thank you for spending this time with me on the English Hour. If this episode inspired you, I want you to remember one thing: confidence is not about being perfect, it's about being real. Keep learning, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. You're already more confident than you think. I'll see you in the next episode.